everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Clint Crowe Real Estate Show. I am thrilled today to have my friend, Aimi Rozier, with me. Aimi, thank you for coming on.
I'm excited to be here.
And
Thank
doing
you
this with
so
me.
much.
Again,
I feel,
I guess.
I had a deja vu joke all planned. You messed it up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's over now. The moment has passed. But yes,
I'm bad
thank
about
you for
that.
having me again.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, which is most of you, we've done this. We've had a few practice runs, and technology was not favorable to us. We had some great episodes, though. We recorded
excellent
or
content.
attempted to record at least 3 episodes.
It was excellent content.
It was.
It would have probably changed the face of real estate.
Probably industry defining
Moments for sure.
Yeah.
But now here they just get us somewhat worn out and tired and beaten down that much more by this industry.
Yeah. So we'll give them what we got, and hopefully you'll find it at least entertaining. You know, usually we are at least entertaining.
I think so.
You know, that's
I
we may
entertain
not
myself.
be getting anything else. Yeah, I mean, we're good at entertaining ourselves. So, realtors are bad with our phones, so I just want to make sure that.
Well, you do. You have to have your phone. That's probably the reason I have found some of the success I have in this business is my phone, because accessibility. That's one of the lessons I learned very early, was that in this day and age of modern technology where people can Google it, Instacart it, deliver it, Uber Eats it, Uber it, if I don't answer my phone, they will call the next agent.
100%. That's kind of, for us, it's the Zillow world, right?
It is.
We provide a service, right? And if
Very
we're going to
much.
serve our clients, we need to be accessible when they need us.
Right.
And for me, being in the agent business, essentially, I need to be able to respond too. And so we'll do that. That was Beth letting me know somebody's looking for me. So
Of course they are.
they'll find me very soon. But anyway, thank you for your patience with all of my technical difficulties.
No problem.
Got our new camera going here, so this should look pretty good. Hopefully, it's going to make me look better than real
Yeah.
life.
I hope so. I hope I look fantastic, because today what I am
you
is
always look fantastic.
what I am
so,
today is tired, but in a good way, busy tired.
Yeah.
So that's the best kind of tired to be.
Yeah, that's the best way to be. Mm-hmm. All right, so we have talked in the past about our episode when we were planning for it, and had a title for it. I think you'd come up with
7 years in the making.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of years in the making.
A lot of years in the making, yeah.
Yeah.
We've known each other, been friends a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Even before you were here, and we talked about you coming here for a number of years, and for whatever reason, at whatever time, wasn't the right time. You and I have talked about this before. I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason and when they're supposed to happen, right?
Absolutely. At exactly the right moment. That's always been something I believed in, that you can't make round pegs fit in square holes or square pegs fit in round holes. But, my life has definitely defined that in the last couple years, and everything happens when it's supposed to. I started out at a brokerage that literally, there's the country song, The House That Built Me. Mm-hmm. I started out an amazing brokerage and was there, consecutively for 5.5 years. And it was definitely the brokerage that built me. Great broker, one of the oldies in the business who's no longer with us. Great agents like Shannon Watkins, who trained me. Great leadership like Brian O'Neill, who, was, if nothing else, the life of the party and made you want to come to the office every day and do what you needed to do.
Absolutely.
So your brokerage is so important, and also, no one will like this statement, not important at all, but it is so important. You have to do the work. The brokerage isn't going to make you, but the brokerage is important as far as you've got to be supported and motivated.
Yeah, and that you're right. I mean, we're in a very agent-centric world now. And for people that have only been in the business for, 5-6 years or so, that's what they've always known.
Right.
When I first started, we were still switching from a broker-centric model to an agent-centric model. People did business with the brokerage.
Right.
They got assigned to the agent or whatever agent was on duty that day, but it was more about the brokerage marketing and driving business. But when the internet came along and people were able to market themselves
Right.
more efficiently and affordably, that really changed. Because at the end of the day, the agents are the ones, they're the boots on the ground. They're the ones that are serving the clients. And technically, I know that the buyer and seller clients belong to the brokerage, right? But in real life, it's the agent's clients. And so the buyers and sellers, I look at it as the buyer and seller are the agent clients.
Right.
And the agents are our clients.
Right.
Right. And our job is here to serve you, to help you serve our buyer and seller clients. And so,
well, and I think that's definitely the flow chart. The fact of the matter is, it's still the brokerage. Like, being part of a brokerage that has a reputation still matters.
Yeah.
And my first one had a very, very, very profound, positive, and still does, local impact. I think November will be my 8-year anniversary. So even in the last operating 7 years, going into my 8th year, the internet has really changed the face of that too. It's funny how our conversation can be so different than it was even 3 weeks ago or a month ago when we tried this. I've had more recently than I have ever say to me, oh, I know Century 21, because it is a national brand.
Yeah.
You know. And for me, there's a little like sweetie caveat that my mother's mother was in real estate a million years ago, and she was Century 21.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before that, branding with Century 21 was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And
Right.
one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Right.
I think it was right for us. Back to the earlier point, what's right for us isn't right for everybody.
No.
And, we're not right for everybody. Everybody's not right for us. But I think I always had a feeling, and I think you did too, that eventually you'd probably wind up here, because so many people here had, great relationships with you and stuff like that. I think it got to be at the point to where it was time for what you needed in your life to come here, and whatever the reason is, I'm just happy to have you here.
I don't ever shy away from the catalyst. So people used to ask me when my kids were little, what do you think of the principal? And I had kids in all age groups, all kinds of schools, elementary, middle school, and I used to say, my kids don't need a principal. As long as I like their teacher, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
My kids, they're good kids. They're good kids.
Right.
But I kind of had that disposition too about brokerages, although I was at a great one, and then I had a little interim one in between. But having said all that, you don't know how important the brokerage is till you need the brokerage, and I needed it for a purely personal reason. But it wasn't the brokerage that drew me in. It was still the people that I built relationships. There's no secret about it that, not quite 2 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer, and then about 18 months ago, not quite 17 and a half months ago, we lost him to that brain cancer. And in the midst of that, there's a time period I have zero recollection of, except what I see in pictures and what people tell me. Mm-hmm. But I do know that the end of that year, so that was the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023, still were two of my busiest times in my career.
Yeah.
Sadly, I couldn't tell you a single client's name. I couldn't tell you an address, which is not like me. I can tell you all my clients. But I do know that the people from this brokerage specifically, because mine is God, works in mysterious ways. And I had a lot of those transactions with people from this brokerage. And man, they took them from finish to end and made sure everything went smoothly and all the right things happened. And all I knew is that I could still pay my bills and take care of mine without having to worry about it. And so when that all came to fruition, I realized where I was supposed to be for the next thing that happened, whether it be, another catastrophic life event or a glorious life event, that I wanted to be at Century 21 with the Agents Crowe to survive those or celebrate those.
Yeah. Well, we're going to speak the glorious one into existence.
Yes.
That's what we're going to work for.
It's been a glorious year so far.
But yeah, you're right. And I tell people all the time, the best thing about our company is the people. I
Absolutely.
am so fortunate to have the people here. And it sounds cliche, like, well, yeah, what else are you supposed to say? If they weren't awesome, they wouldn't be here. Like I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to surround myself and hang out with people that I don't really like and that I don't want to be in business with, And so we've got exceptional people here, and you have come in and fit right in. And,
I hope so.
And I appreciate the way that you do your business, and I appreciate it's just always fun when you come in. And that was the thing that I think really made you fit in. Like we have a lot of fun around here.
You sure do.
Maybe we may not have a Nerf gun war today, but maybe. We're still early. We haven't decided yet.
It is. The day is young, or the week is young. It is July 4th week. You just never know what kind of activities.
We may have some fireworks go off. You never know.
Never know.
So, well, yeah, you talk about that life tragedy, and that is a tragedy. And Mike was a fantastic guy. I was fortunate enough to get to meet him over the years,
and amazing person,
and to get to spend some time with him, and just he set an example for all of us, the way he lived, and even up to the end.
Absolutely.
He was a
He was in here with me at the old building, but
Yep.
he was here when I need to come into the office because, we were in a situation where we need to take care of each other at that point. So he was just with me
Yep.
all the way.
Yep.
Another aspect of Century 21 Crowe agents is, here I am bringing this big 6'4" guy who, is still himself, but not himself wherever I go. And I mean, it was like he was meant to be here. They never out of place. Is he going in your office? You sitting up here with me, Mike? Everyone stopped and talked to him, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
How you treat people is important.
It is. That's really everything.
Yep. It's everything.
It's a family company. It's been a family company from the beginning. Our family has grown, but it's still, every person here is like a member of my family.
Right.
Their kids come in, Manaji came in earlier with her nephew, plays soccer with my son. He come
Right.
in there, and I was in the meeting in the conference room, and he just walked on in anyway to give me a hug, and I'm like, that's cool, whatever.
Right.
And everybody understands because it doesn't matter. Like, it's all family.
It is.
One of they just had her kids up here when they were here for a meeting. We'll put them somewhere, find them something to do, and do the thing. It's the family is important. And speaking, that's maybe a little bit of a transition now to talk about your business now. And
Yes.
You had a bit of a you still did a lot of business during that time, but shortly after that, you kind of took some time to
I did.
to deal with life, and as you needed to, you had to.
Right.
A lot of things to deal with, but since then, you have gotten back to your old form, I guess.
My former glory.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
did. Well,
and building your team up and stuff. And
Right,
you got
so-
some family members on there.
I have put a team together. I guess probably team makes most sense to me, probably more than anybody. Mike was a coach. We operate at home as a team. Like, that's something we say all the time. And so having a real estate team just made sense because now more than ever, you need to be able to give your client base everything they need when they need it. So when I came
Yep.
back, my daughter-in-law, Tiffany Rozier, and I have been together pretty much since she got her license in some capacity. If we weren't marketing ourselves as a team per se, we still backed each other up 100%.
Right.
No questions asked. But I do. I have a great team. I have the only closing coordinator in the business, Tammy Ledford, and then I have Tiffany and I have Katie Gardner.
Yeah.
Tiffany is. You and I kid. She's our little silent rock star.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think I
please-
referred to her earlier in one of the first 12 times we
12
did
times
this
recorded.
as a silent assassin. Like, I rarely ever see her, and then
Right.
she just shows up with a closing, and I'm like, well, hey,
Yeah.
okay, how
so
are you?
she's
Yeah.
that way in our entire life. So she's just that way. Tiffany just gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a great client base that she's built. She's over in the Fayette, Coweta area, and she knows that area like the back of her hand. Mike and her have done which all my kids have done, and I'm so very proud of them, where they have traded up with their houses. Real estate is really an integral part of our whole family. So
Yeah.
they bought their first tiny little condo in Peachtree City just so they could move into that area. My oldest granddaughter was born, and then they parlayed that into a cute little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then they parlayed that up into a larger house in Sharpsburg, knowing that it was a really desirable area, but they ultimately wanted to be in another part of town, so they ended up keeping that the right amount of time, doing the improvements they needed to that one, so that then they could have parlayed that into one in where they are now, Sonoya. So when I say she knows every part of that market, she does. Listing and buying, and she's spectacular, and you can get to her on Facebook or Google her name or text me, and I can tell you how to get to her. And then I have Katie Gardner, and Katie is the perfect addition. She has the ability to chameleon into anything she needs and meet anyone. She interacts with just about everybody, and she does the buyer's agent thing really well.
Yeah.
She enjoys that part of it. She enjoys the flexibility of the schedule. And we had another girl with us who's decided to go on to just new construction exclusively, Valerie.
Yep.
And she's going to be amazing at. She has her personality is very specific in ABC, but she's a crime scene technician, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. In her other life.
In her other life. So she's gone on to new construction, which I told her, I said, she thanked me for the knowledge that she'd gotten from me and Century 21 and Crowe and everything. And I said, well, perfect new construction, because it's my least favorite part of this industry, so I will be calling you up, girl.
Yeah, and you talk about fits, and we talked about fits earlier. That's a good fit because new construction is very systematized and very structured, right?
Right.
There's not a lot of variability.
No.
It's like, here's the house, here's you 3 or 4 options, and here's the price.
Right.
Take it or leave it.
Right.
You know, in the resale world that you operate mostly in is not that.
No.
There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of variability. There's a lot of negotiations.
There is.
You know, there's a big difference there, and I think it's really going to suit her well and
I
be
think it
good
will.
for her. Just super sweet though, very very nice.
I'm sad to see her go, but I'm so excited that, and also she's very good at what she does in her day job, so to speak, and she will transition out of it eventually, but she hasn't yet. And the systematic part of new construction will afford her the opportunity to do both.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't deny someone that when they want, you know.
Yeah.
Because this
what's best
side,
for her?
the residential retail and the resale, does not afford you anything but the time to work.
Yeah.
If you're willing to work, it affords you a lot, actually. I love it. I'm so blessed if I don't mind working no matter where I'm at.
Yeah.
Which is good. I don't.
And speaking of no matter where you're at, that there's 2 things I want to get to.
Okay,
One,
let's do it.
first, the area that you work in is kind of
Yeah.
different. I mean, you know, we're here in
Locust Grove, Georgia.
Locust Grove. You live in McDonough now. Bought a nice,
Yeah.
beautiful house right off the square, which I finally got to see the other night
Saturday.
at your birthday party.
Yeah.
Happy birthday again!
It was
by
my
the way.
25th, by the way.
It was.
Yeah.
It is.
No, we did. You got to see it. I'm so glad.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it's so amazing to me how private it feels, and how, I mean, you're literally steps from the square, and you
Right.
don't feel like it at all. You feel like you're in some really small town just off
Yeah.
the main street or what have you, and it's super peaceful.
Right. There are still parts about McDonough. There are still things about McDonough. Everything evolves and changes. But, you know, a lot of people who've been in the Henry County area since Christ was a child,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I've been here a long time. I've been here since the late 80s. It has changed and it
Yeah.
has evolved.
Yeah.
But there is still something to be said for the small town feel we have, and that house epitomizes it,
Yeah.
which I think what I love about it. People literally stop by and who either know I live there or know me, or people are very comfortable with that house. But I do work Henry County, so don't ever hesitate to call me for Henry County or even Butts or Spalding or any of that. But I spend a lot of time north of I-20.
Yeah.
I started my morning in Gainesville. I ended my day yesterday in Dawsonville, started it in Roswell and Alpharetta.
Yeah.
I'm going, well, tonight I'm showing a house in Locust Grove. Tomorrow I will be in Marietta most of the day. So Fulton, DeKalb, Cobb, Gwinnett, I spend a lot of time in those areas, both single family housing, but I also, by my own interest and what Mike and I were trying to build as future for our children, as they, you know, as we were no longer here with them, our own personal portfolio, I kind of had to become somewhat, I hate to use expert, but I had to become knowledgeable about multifamily units
Yeah.
in Metro Atlanta,
Yeah.
because there are lots of things. There are condo associations, there are zoning restrictions, there are rental restrictions, there are HOAs. There are some of our old buildings in Atlanta where you can't rent. You know, you can buy a lovely little unit for $199,000, but you better plan on living in it. And then because of what Mike and I do, I became interested in the Airbnb market.
Yep.
So I familiarized myself with the restrictions in those counties for that as well. And sometimes the county's different than the city. So I spend a lot of time in Metro Atlanta. That's where I say I work, Metro Atlanta. And I think technically that's 13 counties around City of Atlanta is
Yep.
what they call kind of the metro area.
Yep.
And I feel pretty darn comfortable in all of them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the condo, townhouse, multifamily, or single family attached, whichever
Right.
it may be, is a very unique market, and you
It
do
is.
have to really do some studying to become familiar with it, and then even more than that, become comfortable with it. And
Right.
I know you've done that. I think you still own a condo.
I do.
up
I
there.
still own one up near Piedmont Park. And, you know, add more. My daughter and son-in-law have a house they lived in off the square in Marietta that we've now turned into a rental as they've gone on to bigger and better things. So, yeah, I've spent a lot of time with that. I tell you why you have to be familiar with it, not to be a salesperson. You have to be familiar with it and the restrictions because you're impacting people's financial futures. If Curly Sue comes to me and wants to buy a condo and wants to rent it out when she's not there, and I just sell her the condo and figure that's her hole to dig, that's, her facts to find out, I'm really not doing the job that she hired me to do. Yeah. I really, really take seriously that realtors are more than people who open doors or put out signs. That's super easy. Yeah. And there's been a market for us the last 4 or 5 years, or 3 or 4 years, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, that you could get away with doing that because demand was high and we needed all hands on deck and all the warm bodies to get the houses sold. Right. Perfect example. I was in a closing today and name brand attorney up in Gainesville, great sellers agent, great listing agent, loved her. But my buyer had a very specific question about his closing disclosures HUD as we were going through it the final time at the closing table. And not that the attorney didn't know the answer. He would have known the answer, but he didn't understand it the way my client was asking it. Right. And because I work with great lenders who have also taught me, I could say to the attorney, this is what he's asking you. And then we could answer the question together, and then it moved on. You're out there to provide a service as a realtor. You are not out there to open a door and then make a lot of money. Your job is to make sure that people know what they're... Of course, you can't know everything. You can't, things are missed, things happen. But if you're selling property at the lake, you need to know what that means. You need to know the difference between, deeded and leased. And if you're selling in Atlanta, you need to know about condo associations and if buildings are warrantable and what it means to get a loan. You need to know if a building's FHA eligible. Yeah. You need to know those things because a lot of times listing agents don't know them.
Yeah. That's Georgia, we have caveat emptor.
Yeah.
It's a buyer beware state, but I do not subscribe to that theory. I mean, it is a buyer beware state, especially the buyer's agent. If you're going to represent that buyer, it's your job. We've been talking about the last several days, and we've got this class coming up about the contract changes. And I'm sure everybody out there who lives in the real estate business will know what we're talking about. This is the new contract changes. We got a class here next Tuesday.
I will be here with bells on, recording the class.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for the last few weeks. We went over the sales meeting last week, and it's a change. I mean, I think, people worry.
But
I'm not worried. No.
It's not.
It's not going to change day to day.
Right.
The way the business happens, I don't think it's going to change a lot because I think the reason the business or the way we did the business, I think we did it that way because of market forces and market factors. I don't think those are going to change. I think
it was truly a nuance of words.
Very much so.
What is going to go on in my non-legal, because I'm not a practicing attorney, and my non-broker, just agent opinion is we are finally going to have to represent compensation for realtors in a fashion that has always been this way, but that is accurate, as opposed to using fluffy words and phrases that make people feel good about it. And then be educated enough to educate our sellers and our buyers and have paper now in place, some additional papers, there's some additional papers, but have some additional papers in place that protect all parties. Maybe those papers should have always been in place. I mean, there's been some question marks, but ultimately it's still educating your seller as to the reason it goes, the most valuable reason to continue to compensate agents the way we have in the past, not because they're paying the buyer's agent, they're paying you as their listing agent. Right. What you do with that money is your choice. Because here's the thing. Okay, I'm on a soapbox now. Hold on. Right. Here's the thing. When I list a house, you can call any listing I've had, especially in the last couple of years as I've honed this. They pay me a commission. They pay the brokerage, who then, after I've paid my bills, pays me a commission. I don't make that commission.
Right.
I'm not getting a check and I'm like, woohoo, and doing whatever. So when I go to a listing appointment, obviously my time is money. I have an hourly wage that I think I'm worth. So that's calculated in. I also use a professional photographer who I pay. We also have every house we list professionally cleaned. Okay. I have 2 or 3 different cleaning crews, literally, that I use. And 2 of them specialize in being able to use the people's own things to stage a home, depending on the level of comfort that folks have with me moving their crud around.
Right.
And then, of course, signs, and we use big, pretty fancy signs. And then I use super boxes because of security for my clients, the level super. That's minimum. That is just minimum. So the money that my clients are paying, they're not paying in commission. They're paying for the service of me listing their home. My salary is part of that. And me paying a cooperating agent is part of that. And sometimes that money needs to be roomed to fix a problem that arises that is beyond the seller's control or the seller's not able to, like a contribution to something or a reduction in price and then a reduction in commission to match it because we have to clear a certain amount. So I've always presented it to my clients that way. I don't I don't have any expectation that's going to change.
Yeah.
I've listed 5 houses in the last 3 weeks, and once I explained what the compensation, what the cost was, and what it went towards, I've not had a single person say, I only want to pay you 3%.
You know, I've always found, and way before these conversations that we're currently having now, no, you're good. I always found that the people, the agents who had trouble having that compensation conversation were the ones who were not providing value. You know, I never had a problem having that conversation because I could say, here's what our compensation is, here's why.
Right.
Here's what we're going to do for you. If you don't feel like that is a fair trade and there's value in that, then by all means call somebody else.
Right.
We had some people do that later called us back and said, hey, you know, this is, but that's the one change on the forms. I'm not crazy. Yeah, I mean, look, I am not upset about the changes on the forms. I think they're going to help us have conversations, or they're going to require us to have conversations we should have probably been having already anyway. And I think a lot of them we were already having, just in a different format. But now we're going to be more explicit about having those conversations. These forms are going to require that. But one change on these forms that I really, really, really love is if you look through there, you will not see commission anywhere.
Right.
It's changed to compensation for services provided.
There we go.
Compensation for professional services provided, to be exact.
Yeah.
And that is something that we need to tell our clients. That is something we need to exhibit in our clients, and that is something we need to, for sure, provide to our clients. We are professionals. We provide professional services that are valuable.
I agree.
And for too long, we haven't looked at it that way, or we haven't required other people to look at it that way, or we haven't presented it to other people in that way. And so a lot of people didn't have as favorable a view.
Right. I think that is the problem. We didn't require that other people behave in that manner or treat our profession in that manner. And there are definitely personalities of people who are probably less likely to have what they deem a hard conversation. But that could get me on another soapbox about if I were going to lobby for anything in the real estate industry, it would be an internship, a requirement of internship. I stumbled into mine because I'm one of those people who does not like to look like she doesn't know what she's doing. So I found someone who knew what she was doing, and I hung out with her for a year and learned everything I could. But like I said, December 2015, I got my license and started working on Shannon Watkins' team immediately, like literally immediately, and learned so much. And all these years later, we're about to go into 2025. The first thing I still say is I use all the systems that Shannon put in place because she was a professional and had them. That year of, although it was being on a team, it was essentially an internship. I did it her way or the highway. Was the best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. I've probably sent 10 people to talk to her over the last 7 or 8 years, 6, 7, 8 years.
You know, and I've even told some people, I've suggested to some people that were here, were not on the team, or were looking for something else, like, if you want to, because it's all, like, again, about the fit, right? It's about the fit. There are some people who are going to need that structure to make it.
Right.
They're going to need that, more of that boot camp
mentality.
Type, check boxes here, there, and everywhere to be able to have some success in the business.
Yeah.
And she is great at that.
She builds
really
great
is.
habits.
Yeah.
She builds great habits.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the biggest thing for me with real estate in an internship style licensing, why it's important to me is in real estate, I mean, I taught for a while. I worked in banking for a while. I've never been in an industry that you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it.
Yeah.
There are so many variables in our industry that you truly don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. And that intern style first year, and I'm not a great person for a first year agent.
Yeah.
I'm too in my own space. I'm a great person to support you. I will drop everything and make sure I'm there for my agents. I will make sure you have every tool you need, closing coordinator, leads, those kind of things. I have everything up here. My brain cannot organize it to teach it to someone.
And for me, I don't mind teaching it and setting that stuff up. But also, I've had people in the past say, well, you need to, you ought to require this and make them have to do this and make them have to do that. And I mean, look, let's be honest. I'm super practical. If I have to make somebody do anything in this business, they're probably not going to have long-term success anyway.
Right.
If they're not going to push, especially newer agents, I tell them, we'll move heaven and earth to help them be successful. There's literally, virtually nothing we won't do that's legal or ethical to help them be successful. The one thing we can't do for them is want it. And so if they want it, then they can get it. But it really needs, we do better with folks who are more self-starters and are going to have the confidence to kind of get that stuff going. But we do have other people that come on to the teams and stuff.
Right. And I think
with different groups here and get that internship type stuff.
Right. I can get on another soapbox too, social media.
Social media. That'll be for our next one.
I know, but I'm going to give one PSA. While all these transitions are happening, if you are not a broker or an attorney, don't state fact about what's going on with the changes in real estate.
Yeah.
Because you mean well, and you're trying to educate people, but if you're doing it wrong, it just becomes a scare tactic, or it puts wrong information out onto there.
Yeah. So. I saw one of those yesterday.
I think I probably saw the same one.
My wife forwarded me one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent
Dates
it to
and
me in
everything
Messenger.
were wrong.
Yeah. And just sent it to me, and I'm like, I think she was being helpful. Like, hey, look, did you see this and all this? And I'm like, yeah, but this is not quite,
not 100%.
Not quite right.
No, and what they truly like. Oh my gosh, byproduct of death is memory issues. King. The attorney, what's her first name? Cheryl. I was going to say Cindy. Sorry, Cheryl. Cheryl King is doing, if you're in real estate in the metro area, Cheryl King, follow her on Facebook. She's doing tidbits right now that all apply, and they're digestible tidbits. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, Cheryl has been our go-to for CE classes for a long time here. Cheryl and I have been friends for a long time, had a really good relationship. I love the way she puts information out.
Yeah.
The way, just her personality and her sense of humor. We're both a little sarcastic.
Yeah.
Is that a nice way to say smart ass?
I like that dry sarcasm. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Some people have called me a smart ass in the past. I don't.
That seems aggressive, but accurate.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. You wouldn't know anything about that.
I would not know anything about that.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
No.
Yeah, but it is. I love the way she presents information, but I'm glad you said that, because agents do need to be very careful about where they get their information and what they think of as fact.
Everyone needs to be very careful where they get their information, what they think of as fact. Mom, did you hear that?
Yes.
It's not fact if it's on Facebook. No, I'm kidding.
It's 100%. I mean, it's on the internet.
It's on the internet. No, it's true. And think of it as that you are mildly educating every person who reads your post. And if you want to tell me all about your vacation and show me pictures of your babies and your grandbabies, or what house you have listed and all that, I want to see all of it. I want to know who graduated with honors. I want to know who got arrested last Tuesday. I want to know all of it. But when you are touting fact about not just real estate, any profession, any professional item, just fact checked. Or if you're reading them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fact check.
Just read them, yeah. Even when it comes to, my other life and political world, even that, check that out, because there's so much misinformation that is taken as fact.
The best tweet of all of that, and it is not it is not biased to either side, so no one will still know my politics. But the best tweet was, if you're not from America, please turn off your television. We'd like to keep our family business private.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there were such good ones. Such good ones.
Yeah. People really need to be careful about what they take in as fact. And if you want to put that stuff out there, put a disclaimer at the front of it and say, hey,
I did not fact check this.
Whatever. They have to do it on commercials on TV, right? This
right.
is a non-attorney spokesperson
Right.
giving information. Whatever. Just say, look, this is my opinion, and this is all it is. I'm not this, but this is my opinion.
Right.
And that way people will know. But if you are in the business and you put this stuff out there, people are going to think that you are maybe an expert. And if you want to be, check your information, make sure what you're putting out is factual.
Yeah, I think probably I will claim only at selling real estate, and I wouldn't even say I'm expert level yet. Like, I guess if expert is like a 5-star general, I think I'm a 3.7 star general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.8.
Maybe.
We'll bump you up a point.
I did explain to an attorney what something meant today, and he said I was right.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
That might be like
It wasn't one of my regular attorneys, by the way, Blake.
3.9.
Yeah.
It might be 3.9.
Yeah, it might be.
Getting close.
Yeah, today I was
close.
saying it was a stellar performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was last Thursday, as a matter of fact.
I mean, I think
There
most
are
of them
limits
are,
that
right?
sellers can contribute.
Yeah, for sure.
Your lender should tell you that, so should your agent.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
sorry.
true.
It's been a wacky couple days.
Ain't they all fun, though?
They are.
That's what makes this so interesting. And
it is what
to your
keeps me
earlier
going.
point about you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it.
Amen.
And I tell people this all the time. I could sit down with somebody for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 52 weeks,
Right.
the whole year, and try to tell them everything that I know about the business or I've seen or whatever. I still wouldn't be able to tell them everything they're going to need to know, and they wouldn't remember it when they get there. The way you learn is by doing.
By doing it.
But what happens when you run into one of those things is you need somebody you can call.
You
And
need
so that's
someone you can
why
call.
We've always really prided ourselves on having this available and making sure that we answer when folks call. To your very beginning point, when people call, you need to answer the phone, right?
You need to answer the phone.
You got to be available for your clients.
You've got to be available. Like the things you don't know. When I went to write my first ever offer, and it was 9:30 at night, and I realized I had no idea where the GAR forms were. No clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd only been an agent days. I was very lucky. I got a lead quickly, and the buyer was interested. And so at 9:30 at night, I called Christy Chandler and I said, "How do you write a contract?" And she said, "Just read every line and fill it in, and then I'll look at it." And I said, "No, I mean like physically. Where are the contracts? Like, are they at the office? She was like, "Oh, geez." Look. She probably used some colorful language, but
they're on the interwebs now.
Yes, they're on the interwebs, Amy. She was like, "Yeah, the transaction desk." I was like, "No, what's that mean?" She's like, "Okay, just give me a minute." So yeah, you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it.
When anybody comes on here, they'll get a welcome email from Casey and that sort of thing, and they're all like, "That's a lot of information." I was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of information in this business,
So much.
But you take it like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
There you go.
Just take them in
Couldn't
bite-sized
we eat a
morsels.
large ribeye and not an elephant?
I mean, there's probably a ribeye on an elephant, maybe.
I guess technically, yeah. There's a tenderloin. I'm sure there's all of it. Okay, never mind. Corrected.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, exactly. Except
Not
at
an
maybe
expert.
being a broker.
Yeah.
What star general are you?
I don't know, like a 3 point.
Oh no. I think you're heading towards a 5-star general.
Really? Thanks.
Yeah,
I
I do.
appreciate that.
Mainly because you're old and you've been in it a long time.
Maybe probably because I'm old. That's probably why. It's
Probably
because
'cause
I'm
you've
old
been
and
in
I've been
it.
in it a
Yes,
long time.
no, you're definitely-
But look, experience is I've
is.
seen a lot, and I still see new things every day. And I think that's what kind of keeps me excited about the business is I've not ever seen it all. My mom was in the business for over 30 years,
Right.
and she had not. I mean, the changes that she saw during her career was unbelievable.
I told you.
The changes I've seen during my career in 20, whatever year this is, I don't know what, 21, 22 years I've been licensed, 21, that I've
told
been
you.
licensed. And
I saw that.
and I grew up around it with
Yeah.
her. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And it's constantly changing.
I sold a cute little house over on Elizabeth Lane in East Point, and one of my greatest treasures was I found the contract from when they had bought the house in 1952.
Yeah.
And it was one page of
Yep.
that onion paper.
Yep.
And I guess the guy had left his sofa behind for $13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my
Yep.
greatest treasures.
We hand wrote contracts and listing agreements. Our listing agreements when I started were on carbon paper.
Yeah.
Yellow, white, and yellow sheets that you pull the thing, and there was 2 of them, right?
Right.
So there's 4 pages to the listing agreement in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2, and you would fill it out by hand and then pull the little piece, the little holy
Yeah.
piece off the end of it, the
Right.
perforated.
I'm
piece,
going to be
pull it off
honest,
and
when I
separate
was
'em. It
sitting in the
fantastic.
brand new North Georgia Piedmont Hospital parking lot yesterday, stealing their Wi-Fi,
Yes,
writing it.
borrowing Wi-Fi.
Well, I feel like borrowing because I still pay them payments every month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm contributing to the Wi-Fi Piedmont Hospital systems. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Using my fair share of the Wi-Fi is what I was
Yes,
doing. There we
your
go.
allotted amount of Wi-Fi.
As I was sitting there, I was thinking, I wish I could handwrite this. Trying to get an offer in that I'd showed the house in Roswell at 11 o'clock in the agent, and then I was driving to Gainesville for a walk, Cleveland, Georgia for a walkthrough.
Yeah.
And the agent said, "Oh, by the way, we've cut off showings and we need all offers by 4 o'clock." And my Wi-Fi, my internet was low because I was up in God's country, and my battery was at 3%. Talk about working against time. I'm not a fast typist, by the way. So,
Yeah.
but we got it in. But
You did.
writing it handwritten would have been great, but then I would have had to get a carrier pigeon to get it down to her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'll love the
Which, I
interweb.
mean, you probably get a good deal on a carrier pigeon these days.
Probably. They probably don't get work like they used to.
Probably not.
They've all gone into film
I don't
these
know.
days.
I don't know if they use Waze or Google Maps. I mean, they're probably unionized. It's
Okay.
a whole thing.
You know what? I would like a poll on this
Okay.
podcast.
All right.
I think that Waze
Yes.
is in cahoots
Yes.
with the gas companies. Do you use Waze?
I do not.
Okay, I use Waze because I was shamed about using Google Maps, and I know we're getting close. I got a client waiting on me. Don't worry, he called. He's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, I put in my GPS no matter if I know where I'm going or not. I put it
Me
in every
too.
time because 1, it tells me about traffic, and 2, it tells me about time. And I'm going to be honest, as a realtor, you are constantly pushing the limit. As perfect example right now,
Yes.
pushing the limit. I've got an appointment to show a house.
Yep.
But anyway, so a few times I've put it in and I've gotten bold and thought, this is a stupid way to go. I'm sorry, that's an ugly word. This is not the most efficient way to go. I'm going to go the way that I know best.
Yeah.
And like cut off miles and minutes. And so then I got to where I was like, so I think that Waze is in cahoots with the gas companies, and I think they're taking us 3 or 4 miles out of the way every time. It's my only conspiracy theory I've ever believed in.
Yeah.
And I think they're taking us out of the way to make money. And I think I don't know, BP, Amoco, Shell, I don't know who, but someone is feeding them money to do that.
You may want to talk to Beth, our resident conspiracy realist, not theorist, conspiracy realist, as she likes to call herself. Yeah, I don't use Waze. I use Google Maps, and nobody will shame me out of using
Okay,
Google
good. Well,
Maps because I don't care because I'm at the point now, I'm at the age now where I'll tell you to get off my lawn and
Yeah, well, and I
Doing
also,
another
with Waze, I feel very exposed, like my little dots on the screen, and I can see other people's dots. And
yeah, it looks like a cartoon game to me, and I like Google Maps with the satellite
View.
layer. Yeah,
Yes.
so it looks like a real thing,
Yes.
like I'm going somewhere. You don't have cartoons, you don't
Right.
have little animals and things on there, and
Right.
Waze is just not.
No.
And I had it one time take me to. It said when I still had Falcons tickets, I was going to
Right.
a game, and it said use Waze for the most up to date things, and I used Waze, and it got me
Right.
to a point to where a road was closed.
Exactly.
And I had to turn around and go back, and I never got
Right.
there. And I put it in Google Maps, and it said, "Oh yeah, this is closed. It was taking you this way." And I'm like, "Man, that's yep.
Yeah,
no more
so
Ways for me."
that is my conspiracy theory that Waze is out to break us all 1 gallon at a time.
Yeah, well.
And
that
those
may
gallons
be.
are expensive right
that
now.
may be. Google Maps just tries to always send me the slowest way, but the most
Yeah.
fuel efficient. It has a little leaf up there, and it says, "This is the most fuel efficient way." And I was like, "That's not the way I'm going.
No.
I'm going the fastest way."
You know what else we should talk about?
What's
Is HOV lanes. Yeah, not just HOV lanes. What are the Peach Pass lanes?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know my face is probably on a wanted poster in their office?
Really?
Because do you know if you get in that lane and don't have the little peach pass, all they do is send you, like, if it was 55 cents to be in that lane at that time, they send you a bill for 55 cents plus a $5 fee.
Yeah. They'll send you a little sticker to put on your windshield for free.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is put a card on file, and it'll just reload it.
Yeah,
That's what
I
mine
know.
does. And then you save that money.
I know. You would think that after I would do that. Now it's become a game because I finally got a letter from them that said, please stop. It was sweet. It said, we love you. We are appreciative that you use the lane.
They probably really do because they're getting
But
extra
for the
money
love
off
of God,
you.
get a peach pass, woman.
They probably, I don't know that they mean it. They probably want to keep getting you to pay the extra $5.
I did it today.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was in Gainesville and I needed to get down here.
Yeah.
So I did it today.
Well,
I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to get the peach pass. Next time I'm on here, I'm going to have it, guys.
Since that's a state agency that operates that.
You're going to tell me to do the right thing.
I mean, I would say that you should probably get a peach pass.
You want to talk about...
And if you want me to help you get one, I'll be happy to.
Oh, yeah, the interwebs involved. I used to get those tickets in those blue envelopes, and I could see Mike Rozier's face turning red as he thumbed through the mail. He did not understand why I couldn't just get the sticker. Now it's kind of a game. But anyway, okay.
Well, we get tickets now from cameras in schools.
But not me, because I am my worst nightmare is hitting a human being with my car.
Yeah, well, the problem is they're doing it even when they're not at school.
Yeah,
when the lights aren't flashing, which we've had some discussions about in the other world, and that's okay. But I've gotten 2 of those because
I have gotten one in the past.
Because the car is in my name, even though it's not the vehicle I drive every day.
Yes,
it's my name on the thing, and it comes to me, and I'm like, hey, I got it. What is this?
My child gets the Peach Pass lane tickets as well because the vehicle's not in her name, and I get them, and I can't even I can't tell her no. Can't tell her you're doing something bad. What's that word? Reprimand. Jeez Louise.
Reprimand.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, she pays them.
You couldn't say it because you can't do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was like, she comes by that naturally. So,
well,
okay, let's wrap up.
I have enjoyed this. You do have a client to get to.
I do. Thankfully, he was in traffic, which allowed us to go a few seconds longer. He knows that I'm
You're like me. The term for that is called a time optimist. You always feel like you have a little more time available because I do struggle. If there's one thing I struggle at, it is being on time sometimes.
Yeah.
People will see this and laugh when they say that. But I always feel like I can get one more thing in. I can do one more thing, one more call, check one more email, do one more of this or that. I've got that time to squeeze it in. And so where my spouse would leave, 20 minutes ahead of time because she'd rather be 20 minutes early than 1 minute late.
That was my pressure.
I think that's a waste of 20 minutes. You know what I could do in 20 minutes? The stuff that I've got to do that I could probably try to get one more of these things done. It never works out that way because I try to dial it down to the minute, which is why I will have my phone up with Google Maps open and on there, and I will look and I will see the estimated time of arrival, and when it gets to like 1 minute before, then I'll start to head out the door.
Absolutely.
It's terrible. But it doesn't work out very well, but No,
I can say probably 90% of the time it doesn't work out. But that's okay. It's going to be fine.
But fortunately, people
we're too old now to change that.
They give me some
we're
grace,
50.
and I appreciate the grace from everybody who gives that to me. And for those who don't, I'm trying to do better. I'm going to
be honest. I'm not trying to do better. I'm trying to squeeze out every minute of every day.
Yeah, I still am too, but I'm trying to be a little more mindful and maybe leave 5 minutes ahead of time.
Well, I try not to make people wait on me.
Yeah.
Like what I do is I push myself where I'm grocery shopping at 9:48 at night.
Also that.
Right.
Yeah, I do
so
that.
So I do try not to make people wait on me.
Yeah, I do that, and I'll be leaving
They
here.
do that, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I try, though. That I am trying. Okay.
Right.
So I have a great team. I love selling real estate. Century 21's the bomb. Call me. I'll tell you all about it. Yay, team.
Yay, absolutely. Well, thank you again. Hopefully this one worked. If you're seeing this, then our technology failures have been rectified, at least temporarily.
Yeah.
And I think it will. You and I have a lot more to talk about.
Oh, my gosh, so much.
We'll probably do another part or two of this sometime down the road because there's so many things, so many of those soapboxes that you wanted to get on that I want to get on too because I feel you and I are somewhat kindred spirits. We feel a lot of the same way about a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And, I like that you don't, you just tell the truth.
I try to be.
You just tell the truth.
Out there with how I feel about things, but in a respectful way. I also respect other people's opinions about them, but they're wrong. That is a joke.
Me too. Everybody has, I believe in everybody's right to be incorrect.
Yes, absolutely. No. But I do, you know what, more than a soapbox, I've had great people in my life, you included, who have given me the ability to be very knowledgeable and have a lot of direction. And I would like to be able to do that for other people. And it's not in walking people through real estate in that way we talked about, but it definitely is, I can tell you my opinion on situational stuff and behaviors and things like that, and what you should look for in an agent, what you should avoid in an agent, and how I think that everyone can benefit themselves and each other mutually.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's what you want, right? We want it to be a win for everybody, and at least I do.
I do, for sure.
I want to have a good outcome for everybody, especially us. So but I want everybody else to have a good outcome too. So,
exactly. All right.
Thank you. Good luck with your listing, and thank you all again for joining us. And we will talk to you soon.
We'll
have
be
a great
back
day.
again soon. Thanks.